Also, then sorting out customs, local trucking, and getting the gear from show to show to show. We're obviously prepping for the next round of the world tour, and essentially today we were just practicing loading the pallets that go at the back of Head Force 1, the combi section, which basically is backline, monitors, front of house control, and this is the heavyweight equipment without which we can't do the show.
Adrian's amps.
Say Gonzo?
Can we try and build something and then...
Well, I'm going to need...
Take the weights,
yeah,
and then we'll try and build it.
OK. So what is the designation of this box, then? What are we going to call this box?
That's still the monitor.
Monitor FX. What we're trying to do is work out the weights of all the equipment and put it in the best possible orientation in a small area on the floor, which represents the size of the pallets on the aircraft. We marked out the size of the pallet, the allowable size of the pallet, dimensions that we can use, and had to work within those restrictions, and also there's a height restriction as well, so it all has to be loaded, and there has to be a flat top, it has to be square, which causes some problems. We have to put packers in, and again, if you're putting packers in, you have to take that into account for the weight limit as well, so if you put a packer in, you might have to take a bit of equipment off. Always a problem.
Well, there we are. I wish I was a flight case, because that's the way I'd be coming in, actually, in and out of here, and, well, pretty much this would be the cargo bay. We wouldn't have any carpet down, and it would be all lined, and we'd have some steel plates on the floor as spreaders, but basically this little section here would be where we'd put all the Iron Maiden kit.
Doing Head Force 1 this time round, the trip on the plane, presents enormous problems.
We'll probably get a heads up of maybe a year, 9 months, something like that, as to the tours happening. And then we'll go and have a meeting with Rod, and he'll give us maybe an album name or just a gem of an idea, which we'll then go away with and come up with some designs for the set.
A lot of the ideas do come from the band initially anyway, so we'll give them what ideas we have, and we'll, you know, fairly well try and paint a picture for them, you know, in words if you like, whatever. Sometimes I'll send them some images that I'll pull up, you know, from wherever, just to give them some sort of basic idea of what I think the direction they should be going in.
The brief that we got, I think, was we need to have a space station that's at the dirty end of the universe. It has changed a little from this point, and it does extend a little more left and right. But the innovative thing was putting the large towers upstage left and right, which made the whole thing in the region of 100 feet across, which is pretty big.
Yeah, Hangman will send us initial drawings of what it's going to look like. We'll move that on a bit in terms until we're all happy, then they'll do a model, and then we'll sign it off and they'll start building it.
Then becomes a massive, intense period of drawing, CAD drawings, designing, artworking, also talking to all the crew, talking to the tour manager, production managers, to make sure that not only does it look good, but that it will go on a truck or in a plane, will be easy to put up every night, easy to take down. And we've got artists here, sewers, computer graphics guys. Over at Metal Man we've got welders. And basically it then all has to happen, and usually by that point we've not got very long left.
It's always the same, I don't know why, but no matter how much time we seem to have on these things, it always seems to end up being that we ain't got hardly any time at the end of it.
We still use the drapes. It's just different. There are a lot of big screens around nowadays with wonderful pictures on everything else, but there's something more theatrical and dramatic about the drapes.
So we're just messing around with the colours, seeing how it brings out the most of the 3D effect of the drops. Okay, we're just doing a little demo here, looking at the new drapes, seeing how they're going to respond in under concert lighting conditions, and getting the most out of them, and the band are checking them out.
The rest of it looks great, but he just needs to really stand out, and he doesn't. He's very flat.
It's very flat lighting at the moment, so
no,
I know it will make a difference.
No, I appreciate that, and the figure itself needs to be dark. Like all the dark bits need to be like more black. So
Up the contrast.
Okay, yeah, fine.
So you make the thing stand out.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the last 2 months have been pretty much constant prepping for the around the world part. I mean, there's a lot of different lighting companies to deal with all over the world, and they have to recreate the show, you know, to the last light bulb, you know, from here to Jakarta. So it's quite a lot to do.
As you can see, these are the engine logos. These logos will be inboard and outboard, so whoever's flying on the aircraft will see the skull from the inside of the cabin. We acquired the graphics from Peacock Design. We take those graphics and we superimpose them onto a schematic of the aircraft. We scale everything up from the templates and we produce the graphics from there. It's a 10-year vinyl and it's quite a high-quality vinyl, which is like Formula One racing cars, from when it's printed and when the vinyl's actually cut. The next stop for us is to get all the graphics boxed up, ready to go, and sent to the hangar where Ed Force One will be applied.
It's basically like a big jigsaw puzzle, so they use the drawing and it's all scaled up for the fin, and each section of decal is just placed up in position, and they start from the bottom corner and work their way forward and all the way up until you get the final bigger picture. To do the whole livery, including the fin, we're looking at about 3 to 4 days, depending on how many guys we've got on it. So we're on schedule at the moment to finish by end of Wednesday, beginning of Thursday.
We're in Paris in a rehearsal room, and we just finished rehearsal for the day. We've got one more rehearsal before we head off on Final Frontier Part 2.
The elements of the production are based around obviously what the set list is, and for the around the world leg, then obviously a lot of new places and a lot of new people we never played to. So you've got to be a bit more generous.
Talisman was a decision that we needed to make when the Wild Wind Blows picked itself. And as for the rest of it, we thought we'd put a few more songs back in.
We circulate a copy of the set between us a couple of weeks before we actually get to rehearsal. You know you're going to be playing Hallowed Be Thy Name. You know you're going to be playing Iron Maiden. So it was just working in a couple of the new songs, really.
Obviously, a lot of the older songs, they came back immediately, but songs like When the Wild Wind Blows are a little more involved, and there's a lot of highs and lows in the song.
Have you seen what they said on the news today? What is coming to us all?
Wild Wind Blows actually is a lot of fun to play live. It's got some really good grooves in it, and it's like, you know, your classic Maiden epic. So yeah, all good stuff. You know, looking forward to playing the new songs. It's always good fun for us, keeps us on our toes. Just hope we can remember it all in a night.
Trying to get the set to gel all together was difficult, because it was a very different paced set to the one that we're used to. In particular because, you know, we're going out and starting with a kind of a mid-tempo type number, and it requires a great deal of restraint on the part of the drumming department. You need to be focused and you need to be quite disciplined on where the set starts, because that way it can build and build and build throughout.
Yeah, I've been rehearsing for just over a week and a half now. And we've got one more tomorrow, more run through, and the new songs we're doing off the new album sounding really good. And yeah, we're all excited to be off we go, you know.
You find once you get out there, it's good fun, and you know, get in front of the audience and you connect with the audience again, and you find out, you know, you realise why you do it. When you're rehearsing in an empty room, you sometimes wonder why you do it, because
This band just feeds off an audience, and it's, you know, that's where it comes alive.
You can rehearse till the cows come home, but it's only when you get on stage that first night and then everything falls into place.